After in Bhagavad Gita, after many, many births, the wise philosopher surrender unto me. The yogis are also directed to concentrate their meditation upon Krishna within the heart. And by such a continuous process of Krishna consciousness, they can also become free from the clutch of the material energy. The devotees, however, are engaged in devotional service with love and affection from the very beginning, and therefore the Lord personally directs them so that they can approach Him without difficulty or deviation. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. That verse 10, 10, I think. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Only by the grace of the Lord can the living entity understand the exact position of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. So this is what we read yesterday. Madan Mohan Kundu Prabhu has unmuted their phone, so let me mute him. Please keep your phone muted. The statement of the personified Vedas give clear evidence that the Vedic literature is presented only for understanding Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita confirmed that through all the Vedas, it is Krishna alone who has to be understood. Krishna is always enjoying, either in the material world or in the spiritual world, because He is the supreme enjoyer. For Him, there is no distinction between the material and spiritual worlds. The material world is an impediment for the ordinary living entities because they are under its control. But Krishna, being the controller of the material world, has nothing to do with the impediments it offers. Therefore, in different part of the Upanishad, the Vedas declare, quote, the Supreme Brahman is eternal, full of knowledge and all bliss. That one Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in the heart of every living entity, unquote. Because of His all-pervasiveness, He is able to enter not only into the heart of the living entity, but even into the atoms also. As a super soul, He is the controller of all activities of the living entities. He lives within all of them and witnesses their actions, allowing them to act according to their desire and also giving them the result of their different activities. He is the living force of all things, but He is transcendental to the material qualities. He is omnipotent. He is expert in manufacturing everything. And on account of His superior natural knowledge, He can bring everyone under His control. As such, He is everyone's master. He is sometimes manifest on the surface of the globe, but He is simultaneously within all matter, desiring to expand Himself in multi-forms. He glanced over the material energy, and thus innumerable living entities became manifest. Everything is created by His superior energy, and everything in His creation appears to be perfectly done without deficiency. Those who aspire for liberation from this material world must therefore worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate cause of all causes. He is just like the total mass of earth from which varieties of earthly pots are manufactured. The pots are made of earthly clay. They rest on earth, and after being destroyed, their element ultimately merge back into the earth, the original cause of all varieties of manifestation. Employing this analogy of Brahman with earth, the impersonalists especially stress the Vedic statement, Sarvam Kau Idam Brahma, everything is Brahman. The impersonalists do not take into account the varieties of the manifestation emanating from the supreme cause, Brahman. They simply consider that everything emanates from Brahman and after destructions merges into Brahman, and that the intermediate stage of manifestation is also Brahman. Both, but although the Mayavadis believe that prior to its manifestation, the cosmos was in Brahman, after creation it remains in Brahman, and after destruction it merges into Brahman. They do not know that Brahman is. The Brahma Samhita, however, clearly describes Brahman. Quote, the living entities, space, time, and the material elements like fire, earth, sky, water, and mind constitute the total cosmic manifestation known as Bhuvaha, and Swaha, which is manifested by Govinda. It flourishes on the strength of Govinda and after annihilation enter into and is consumed in Govinda. Lord Brahma therefore says, I worship Lord Govinda, the original personality, the cause of all causes. I have to attend to one of the, just give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I am sending. Thank you. Oh no, when you go to something else, it just, I'll have to find where we were reading.
Well, this paragraph starts with the word Brahman indicates.
Yeah, just let me first go to the chapter first, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the para starts with the word Brahman indicates the greatest of all.
Yeah, just let me go first. I know. Okay. I worship Lord Govinda. Lord Brahma therefore says, I worship Lord Govinda, the original personality, the cause of all causes. The word Brahman indicates the greatest of all and the maintainer of everything. The impersonalists are attracted by the greatness of the sky, But because of their poor fund of knowledge, they are not attracted by the greatness of Krishna. In our practical life, however, we are attracted by the greatness of a person and not by the greatness of a big mountain. Thus, the term Brahman actually applies to Krishna only. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna concluded that Lord Krishna is the Parabrahman, or the supreme resting place of everything. Krishna is the supreme Brahman because of his unlimited knowledge, unlimited potencies, unlimited strength, unlimited influence, unlimited beauty, and unlimited renunciation. Ultimately, therefore, the word Brahman can be applied to Krishna only. Arjuna affirms that because the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence emanating as rays of Krishna's transcendental body, Krishna is the Parabrahman. Everything rests on Brahman, but Brahman itself rests on Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is the ultimate Brahman or Parabrahman. The material elements are accepted as the inferior energy of Krishna. By their interactions, the cosmic manifestation takes place, rests on Krishna, and after dissolutions, again entered into the body of Krishna as his subtle energy. Krishna is therefore the cause of both manifestation and dissolution. Sarvam Kal Idam Brahma means that everything is Krishna in the sense that everything is his energy. That is the vision of the Mahabhagavats. They see everything in relations to Krishna. The impersonalists argue that Krishna himself has been transformed into many and that therefore everything is Krishna and worship of anything is worship of him. This false argument is answered by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Although everything is a transformation of the energy of Krishna, he is not present everywhere. He is simultaneously present and not present. By his energy, he is present everywhere. But as the energetic, he is not present everywhere. This simultaneous presence and non-presence is inconceivable to our present senses. But a clear explanation is given in the beginning of the Isopanishad, in which it is stated that the Supreme Lord is so complete that although unlimited energies and their transformation emanate from Krishna, Krishna's personality is not in the least bit transformed. Therefore, since Krishna is the cause of all cause, intelligent person should take shelter of his lotus feet. Krishna advises everyone just to surrender unto him alone, and that is the way of Vedic instruction. Since Krishna is the cause of all causes, he is worshipped by all kind of sages and saints through observance of the regulative principles. As far as the meditation is concerned, great personality meditate on the transcendental form of Krishna within the heart. In this way, the mind of the great personalities are always engaged in Krishna. With their mind engaged in Krishna, naturally, the captivated devotees simply talk of Krishna. Talking of Krishna or singing of Krishna is called Kirtan. Lord Chaitanya recommends Kirtaniya Sadahari, which means always thinking and talking of Krishna and nothing else. That is called Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is so sublime that anyone who takes to this process is elevated to the highest perfection of life, far, far beyond the concept of liberation. In the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, Krishna advises everyone always to think of him, render devotional service to him, worship him, and offer obeisances to him. In this way, a devotee becomes fully Krishnaized, and being always situated in Krishna consciousness, ultimately that soul will go back to Krishna. Although the Vedas have recommended worship of different demigods as different parts and parcel of Krishna, it is to be understood that such instructions are meant for less intelligent men who are still attracted by material sense enjoyment. But the person who actually wants perfect fulfillment of the mission of human life should simply worship Lord Sri Krishna, and that will simplify the matter and completely guarantee the success of his human life. Although the sky, the water, and the land are all part of the material world, when one stands on the solid land, his position is more secure than when he stands in the sky or on the water. An intelligent person, therefore, does not stand under the protection of different demigods, although they are part and parcel of Krishna. Rather, he stands on the solid ground of Krishna consciousness. That makes his position sound and secure. Impersonalists sometimes give the example that if one stands on a stone or a piece of wood, one certainly stands on the surface of the land, because the stone and the wood both rest on the surface of the earth. But it may be replied that if one stands directly on the surface of the earth, he is more secure than if he stands on the wood or a stone that rests on the earth. In other words, taking shelter of Paramatma or taking shelter of impersonal Brahman is not as secure a course as taking direct shelter of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. The position of the Gyanis and Yogis is therefore not as secure as the position of the devotees of Krishna. Lord Krishna has therefore advised in the Bhagavad Gita that only a person who has lost his sense takes to the worship of demigods. And regarding person attached to the impersonal Brahman, Srimad Bhagavatam says, quote, "My dear Lord, those who think of themselves as liberated by mental speculations are not yet purified of the contamination of the material nature, because of their inability to find the shelter of your lotus feet. Although they rise to the transcendental situation of existence in impersonal Brahman, they certainly fall from that exalted position because they deride your lotus feet." Unquote. Lord Krishna therefore advises that the worshippers of the demigods are not very intelligent persons because they derived only temporary, exhaustible results. These endeavors are those of less intelligent men. On the other hand, the Lord assures that his devotee has no fear of falling. The personified Vedas continue to pray, quote, "Dear Lord, considering all point of view, If a person has to worship someone superior to himself, then just out of good behavior, he should stick to the worship of your lotus feet because you are the ultimate controller of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. You are the controller of the three worlds, Bhu, Bhuvaha, and Swaha. You are the controller of the 14 upper and lower worlds, and you are the controller of the three material qualities. Demigods and person advance in spiritual knowledge always hear and chant about your transcendental pastimes because this process has the specific potency of nullifying the accumulated result of sinful life. Intelligent person factually deep into the ocean of your nectarian activities and very patiently hear about them. Thus, they are immediately freed from the contamination of the material qualities. They do not have to undergo severe penances and austerity for advancement in spiritual life. This chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and hearing of your transcendental pastimes is the easiest process for self realization. Simply by submissive oral reception of the transcendental message, one's heart is cleansed of all dirty things. Thus, Krishna consciousness becomes fixed in the heart of a devotee. Unquote. The great authority Bhismadev has also given the opinion that this process of chanting and hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest religious process. And Taittiriya Upanishad says the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all Vedic ritualistic performances. So, after all this karma kanda, one should come to the level of accepting Krishna as the only person that we need to take shelter of it. Personified Vedas continued. Quote, Dear Lord, the personified Vedas continued. The devotee who wants to elevate himself simply by the process of devotional activities, especially by hearing and chanting, very soon comes out of the clutches of the dualities of this material existence. By this simple process of penance and austerity, the supersoul within the devotee's heart is very pleased and give the devotee directions so that he may go back home, back to Godhead. Bhagavad Gita 10:11. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one who engages all his activities and senses in the devotional service of the Lord becomes completely peaceful because the super soul is satisfied within him. Thus, the devotee becomes transcendental to all dualities, such as heat and cold, honor and dishonor. Being freed from all dualities, he feels transcendental bliss, and he no longer suffers cares and anxieties due to material existence. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that the devotee always absorbs in Krishna consciousness, has no anxieties for his maintenance or protection. Being constantly absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he ultimately achieves the highest perfections. While in material existence, he lives very peacefully and blissfully, without cares and anxieties. And after quitting this body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. The Lord confirms in the Bhagavad Gita My supreme abode is a transcendental place from which, having gone, one never returned to this material world. Anyone who attains the supreme perfection, being engaged in my personal devotional service in the eternal abode, reaches the highest perfection of human life and does not have to come back to the miserable material world. We are going to the Badrinath Yatra, and there is a, I forgot the name of the town. My relative just visited those places, and they were saying that where the Ganesh was writing all this Vedic literature as the Vyasadeva was telling him, speaking. That place, they said, is so serene. It's so nice. He was telling me that, he would like to go and spend some 4 or 5 days just at that place. And then they say that all these, we have read in our scripture, all the Pandavas, all great personalities, when they wants to leave this world, they travel toward the north. And they were mentioning that there is a path which is 25 kilometers north of Badrikashram, where the gate of the heaven is there. And it says that if someone goes there, they may not come back, or if they come back, very few of them. So who knows, how 25 kilometer on top of Badrinath. But this is the way to leave this world. Is all these great personality has visited those places before they depart from this world. So it's a very nice. Whoever is joining for this yatra will be much more happier to visit those places and enjoy the environment, how beautiful nature is, and the God's energy, how it works wonderfully. The personified Vedas continued. Hari Bol. What time is it? Okay. I will be moving to another house this evening. And tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to show those breathing exercise which has helped me throughout my life as soon as I was aware. And I have used them. So I'm going to show the 7 exercise and then couple of extra exercise that I will also show if you are interested. So please join at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Dear Lord, it is imperative that the living entities be engaged in Krishna consciousness, always rendering devotional service by such prescribed methods as hearing and chanting and executing your orders. If a person is not engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, it is useless for him to exhibit the symptoms of life. Haribo. We should rather die. Generally, if a person is breathing, he is accepted to be alive. But a person without Krishna consciousness may be compared to a bellows in the blacksmith shop. The big bellows is a bag of skin which exhales and inhales air, and a human being who simply lives within the bag of skin and bones without taking to Krishna consciousness and loving devotional service is no better than the bellows. Haribo. Similarly, a non-devotee's long duration of life is compared to the long existence of a tree. His voracious eating capacity is compared to the eating of dogs and hogs, and his enjoyment in sex life is compared to that of the hogs and goats. Unquote. The cosmic manifestation has been made possible because of the entrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mahavishnu within this material world. The total material energy is agitated by the glance of Mahavishnu, and only then does the interactions of the three material qualities begin. Therefore, it should be concluded that whatever material facilities we are trying to enjoy are available only due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Haribol. Within the body, there are five different departments of existence known as Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and at last Anandamaya. In the beginning of life, every living entity is food conscious. A child or an animal is satisfied only by getting nice food. This stage of consciousness in which the goal is to eat sumptuously is called Annamaya. Anna means food. After this, one lives in the consciousness of being alive. If one can continue his life without being attacked or destroyed, one thinks himself happy. This stage is called Pranamaya. Everyone feels satisfied, right? Even though we are suffering so much. Somebody asks her, how are you? I'm fine. Very well. This stage is called Pranamaya or consciousness of one's existence. After this stage, when one is situated on the mental platform, his consciousness is called Manomaya. The materialistic civilization is primarily situated in these three stages: Annamaya, Pranamaya, and Manomaya. The first concern of civilized persons is economic development. And most of us, we have seen in our life how many years we spend toward this basic economic development process. And the next concern is defense against being annihilated. Nobody wants to die. And the next consciousness is mental speculations, the philosophical approach to the values of life. It is better to understand the words of Krishna rather than try to understand Krishna by our own effort and intelligence. If by the evolutionary process of philosophical life, one happens to reach the platform of intellectual, this word is intellectual life, and understand that he is not this material body, but a spiritual soul. He is situated in the Vijnanamaya stage. Then, by evolution in spiritual life, he comes to the understanding of the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Soul. And when one develops his relationship with him and execute devotional service, that stage of life is called Krishna consciousness, the Anandamaya stage. Anandamaya is the blissful life of knowledge and eternity. As it is said in the Vedanta Sutra, Anandamayo Bhasya, the Supreme Brahman and the subordinated Brahman, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities, are both joyful by nature. As long as the living entities are situated in the lower four stages of life, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, they are considered to be in the material condition of life. But as soon as one reaches the stage of Anandamaya, he is liberated soul. This Anandamaya stage is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as the Brahmabhuta stage. There it is said that in the Brahmabhuta stage of life, there is no anxiety and no hankering. This stage begins when one is equally disposed toward all living entities, and it then expands to the stage of Krishna consciousness, in which one always hankers to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This hankering for advancement in devotional service is not the same as the hankering for sense gratification in material existence. In other words, hankering remains in spiritual life, but it becomes purified. Similarly, when our senses are purified, they are freed from the material stages, namely Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, and they become situated in the highest stage, Anandamaya, or blissful life in Krishna consciousness. Let's see, finish this paragraph. The Mayavadi philosopher consider Anandamaya to be the state of being merged in the Supreme. To them, Anandamaya means that the supersoul and the individual soul become one. But the real fact is that oneness does not mean merging into the Supreme and losing one's own individual existence. Merging into the spiritual existence is the living entity's realizations of qualitative oneness with the Supreme Lord in his aspects of eternity and knowledge. But the actual Anandmaya blissful stage is attained when one is engaged in devotional service. And that is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Here Lord Krishna states that the Brahma Bhuta Anandmaya stage is complete only when there is an exchange of love between the Supreme and the subordinate living entities. Unless one comes to this Anandamaya stage, his breathing is like the breathing of a bellows in a blacksmith shop. His duration of life is like that of a tree, and he is no better than the lower animal, like the camel, hawks, and dogs. Haribo. So we will stop here. Let me make a note, because if I don't make a note, it's difficult where to begin. Undoubtedly. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you, to join every morning taking the austerity. And this personified Vedas prayers are continuous, and maybe we may not be able to even complete tomorrow or day after. It's so long. They will explain everything, quoting from the scriptures. Oh, it will go on for maybe 2-3 days, I think, or maybe more than 2-3 days, maybe a week. Yeah, it looks like it will go for more than a week. It seems like a no end to this chapter. Haribol. Yes. So thank you very much.